Assalamu alaikum, marhaban, ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome you all again to our Arabic learning channel. With you is your brother Abu Jandal. In today's episode, we are going to be diving into a very important Arabic grammar topic, and that is تقسيم الفعل باعتبار زمنه, division of the Arabic verb of the verbs in terms and regards and in respect to their time. Remember, in our last episode we mentioned that we have ajza'ul kalima. That was the last topic, ajza'ul jumla, the parts of speech or the parts of a sentence, where we mentioned that we have in a sentence al-ismu, the noun, al-failu, the verb, and al-harufu, the preposition. Today we want to look at al-failu and the further categorization and division. Remember, we said al-failu kullu lafzin yadullu ala husuli amalin fi zaman al-khas or fi zaman al-khassin. That al-failu, it is any word which denotes and connotes an action which takes place at a given time. So we said at a given time, and we know in the English language we also have past tense, present tense, and even future tenses. We also have command tense. So in today's episode, we want to look at these tenses. In the Arabic, we have three basic tenses, and that is what this episode is going to be all about. So stay tuned till the end so that you can have a grasp of this important topic. Let's dive in. تقسيم الفعل باعتبار زمنه, the division and categorization of the verb in regard to the time. When we have a verb which is an action word, an action could take place either in the present or in the past. So we want to see these changes which will occur in the words of a verb. So let's go. The first one we have is al-fa'ilul madi. Al-fa'ilul madi simply means verb in their past tenses. Verb in the past tense. Action that takes place in the past. Such action, what word do we use and how do we recognize these words? We have al-amthila, examples. The first example says Jaral kalbu, the kalb, the dog, ran. In the past, ran is the past form of run. So Jaro is the word for run. So we have Jaral kalbu, the dog ran, meaning in the past. Number two, we have waqafa rajulu, the man stood. He stood, meaning he carried out the action of standing in the past. Number three, da al-kitabu, the book is lost. The book is lost in the past. Number four, daqqati sa'atu, the watch or the clock tickled, the clock rang or beeped, any of this word. So but in the past. Number five, ja'atil bintu, the girl came in the past. Number six, badati dajajatu, the hen laid, meaning the hen laid egg. So this is done in the past. Let's go to the Al-Bahs research and also detailed explanation of what has happened to these examples. تأمل الكلمات الأولى في الأمثلة السابقة تجدها أفعالا. In the previous examples, when you ponder over the words, the first of the words, you will find these words to be أفعال, verbs. لأن كلا منها يدل على حصول عمل في زمن خاص. Why do we call these words to be verbs? Because each of them connotes an action which has taken place at a particular time, at a given time. وإذا تدبرت هذا الزمان. But if you further ponder and you take your time to look into these words, you will find out that the time which this action has taken place, وجدته زمنا ماضيا, you find out that this time is in the past. All of the first words are verbs, and these verbs indicate action that has taken place, and this action took place in the past. فَكَلِمَةُ جَارَ. As for the word jaro, the first example we have, the first word there is jaro. The word jaro, في المثال الأولى أول, in the first example, تدل على الجري. It indicates what? Running, the action of running. في الزمن الذي مضى قبل التكلم, in the time which has passed before the speech is given. Before the statement is given, this action has already taken place. So when I say Jaral Kalbu, the kalb, the dog, ran. I'm saying this after the dog has carried out the action of running. So, وَكَلِمَةُ وَقَفَ, the same thing for the word وَقَفَ. In the example 2, we have في المثال الثاني, the example 2, تدل على الوقوف في الزمن الذي مضى قبل التكلم أيضا. It also indicates the action of standing in the past time before the statement is made. Because when I say وَقَفَ الرَّجُلُ, the man stood, this shows that this man has carried out the action of standing before I am informing you. That is it. وَهَلُمَّ جَارٌ, and etc. This goes for the other example that we have. All of the words that we can see at the beginning of these examples are words which indicate an action that had taken place in the past. وَلِذَلِكَ, and as such, تُسَمَّى كُلُّ كَلِمَةٍ مِنَ الْكَلِمَاتِ, all of these words are called فعلا ماضيا, they are called فعل ماضي. وكذلك جميع الكلمات التي من هذا النوع, and the same goes for all of the other words that fall under this category. When you have this type of words, whether these or other words, they are all called al-fi'l al-madi, the past tense. Now moving to al-qaida, the rule. Rule number 4 now, we have al-fi'l al-madi. Definition of al-fi'l al-madi. What is al-fi'l al-madi? The past tense. Huwa kullu fi'lin. It is every verb يدل على حصول عمل في الزمن الماضي. It is every verb which indicates the occurrence of an action in the past. So a past tense is a verb, any verb which indicates an action that has been carried out in the past. So this is al-fi'l al-madi. Now let's move on to al-fi'l al-mudari. Al-fi'l al-mudari simply means the present tense. Al-amthila, just the way we did in the past, under the past tense, we also have examples here. Example 1 says, Agsilu yadayya. I am washing my 2 hands. Agsilu yadayya. I am washing my 2 hands. Number 2, albasu thiyabi. I am wearing my clothes. I am wearing my garments. Number 3, nal'abu bil qurra. We are playing with the ball. Number 4, namshi fil hukul. We are walking in the fields. Namshi, we are taking a walk in the fields, the farm fields or whatever field, but fields are called al-hukul. Number 5, yambahul kalbu. The dog is barking. We can see the word barking. The dog is barking. Number 6, we have yantabihul harisu. The haris, the watcher, or what we call haris, the security, the guard is watchful. The guard is vigilant. He is vigilant. MashaAllah. Number 7, we have ta'kulul bintu. The girl is eating. Number 8, tadhbulul warda. Tadhbulu means what? The rose wither. Wither. When we say something wither, it is drying up. The rose is drying up because of lack of water. Tadhbulul warda. The rose is drying up. Al-bahsu. Now let's explain all these examples. Al-kalimatul ula. The first words fil amthilati sabiqa. In the previous examples, kulluha fa'al. All of them undoubtedly are verbs. Are we doubting it? No. All of the first words from the beginning to number 8, we have their first words in these sentences to be what? Verbs. لأن كلا منها يدل على عمل في زمن خاص, because each of these words are indicating an action carried out at a given time. وإذا تدبرت هذا الزمن الخاص, and if we are to ponder over this particular time, في كل منها وجدته إذا إما حاضرا وإما مستقبلا, you find out that each of these words indicating an action carried out at a given time shows that this action is either carried out in the present or in the future. Now, falfi'lu, for example, the word agsilu from the first example where we saw agsilu yadayya, I am washing my hand. So the word agsilu, I am washing, yadullu ala husul al-ghasli fi zaman al-hadiri aw al-mustaqbal. The word agsilu indicates the action of washing in the present tense or in the present time or in the future time. So this is either a present tense or a future tense. وَالْفَعْلُ, and the same goes for the verb albasu. In the second example, albasu, I am wearing. يَدُلُّ عَلَى حُصُولِ اللُّبْسِ فِي الزَّمَنِ الْحَاضِرِ أَوْ الْمُسْتَقْبَلِ. This word also indicates an action, the occurrence of wearing in the present tense, in the present time, or in the future. وَيُسَمَّى كُلُّ فِعْلٍ مِنْ هَذَا النَّوْعِ فِعْلًا مُضَارِعًا. And all of these words, all of these verbs which fall under this category are termed as fi'lul mudari'. That is present tense. They are called as what? Present tenses. وَإِذَا نَظَرْتَ إِلَى الْحَرْفِ الْأَوَّلِ فِي كُلِّ فِعْلٍ مِنْ هَذِهِ الْأَفْعَالِ وَأَشْبَاهِهَا. If we are to look at the first letters of all of these verbs, all of these present verbs that we have seen from example 1 to example 8, they are the first words that we see from these examples. When we look at their first letters and the likes of these words, not just these words alone, and the likes of these words, wajatahu hamzatan, you will find out that it is either hamza, aw nunan or nun, aw ya'an or ya, aw ta'an or ta. Mashallah, can we go back and look at it? Yes. Look at example number 1. We have agdasilu. The word agdasilu, what begins it? Hamza. So that is one of the letters. Number 2, it also begins with what? Hamza. Number 3, we have noon. Number 4, we have noon beginning the word namshi. Number 5, we have ya beginning the word yambahu. Number 6, we also have ya beginning the word yamtabihu. Number 7, we have ta'kulu. And number 8, we have tadhbulu. So we can see when we look at all these examples, they all begin, the words, the present verbs, all begin with either of these 4 letters. Either hamza, noon, ya, or ta. These are the letters that begin a fi'lul mudari'. وَتُسَمَّى هَذِهِ الْأَحْرُفُ الْأَرْبَعَةُ أَحْرُفَ الْمُضَارِعَةِ. And all of these 4 letters that begin these verbs, these present verbs, are termed and called huruful mudari'a or ahruful mudari'a, the present tense letters. They are called what? The present tense letters. These present tense letters, it is further joined together to form a word in order to make it easy for you so that you can know it always, to form the word aneitu. Aneitu. You can see from the word aneitu, hamza, nun, ya, and ta. Aneitu. So you know that all present tense in the Arabic language must begin with either of these 4 letters, either hamza, nun, ya, or ta. And as we move ahead, we know why the changes in these letters. When do we add hamza to the present tense, and when do we add nun, when do we add ya, and when do we add ta? Stay tuned. We are going to learn a lot, inshallah. Let's move on to al-qaida, the rule. The rule number 5 says al-fi'lul mudari, the present tense. Huwa kullu fi'lin, it is every verb, yadullu ala husuli amalin, which indicate the occurrence of an action fi zaman al-hadir, in the present, aw al-mustaqbal, or in the future. Wala budda, wala budda, wala budda, and it is a must. And yakuna mabdu'an, it is a must that this present tense must begin with harfin, a letter, min ahrufil mudari'a, from the letters of the present tenses that we have mentioned earlier. Wahiya, and these letters are al-hamzatu, wal-nunu, wal-ya'u, wa-ta. These are the 4 letters. Again, a present tense is any word, any verb which indicates the occurrence of an action in the present or in the future. And these present tenses must begin with either of these letters, hamza, nun, ya, and ta. Let's move ahead. That is the end of al-fi'lul mudari, present tense. Now moving to fi'lul amr, the command tense. These are the 3 basic tenses we have in the Arabic: past tense, present tense, and the command tense. Fi'lul amr means the command tense. Let's look at the examples. Al-amthila. The first example we have, il'ab bil qurra, play with the ball. This is a command tense, play with the ball. Number 2, nam mubakiron, sleep early. Nam, sleep. Nam mubakiron, sleep early. This number 4. Number 2, we have at'im kittak, feed your cats. At'im, from ta'am, at'im, feed your cats. Number 3, we have نظف ثيابك. Clean your clothes. نظف. Clean your clothes. Number 4, نم مبكرا. Sleep early. Number 5, تمهل في السير. تمهل في السير. Walk gently. Gently walk. Number 6, أجد مضغ الطعام. Perfect the mastication of food. Perfect what? The chewing of food. Meaning, chew your food very well. Masticate it very well. Don't swallow until you are done masticating to ease the digestion. MashaAllah. Now, these are the examples we have seen. Let's go to Al-Bahs so we can have detailed explanation of what we have last learned. Al-Kalimatul Ula. The first words. Fil amthilatil mutaqaddima. In the previous examples, af'alun, they are all verbs. All of the first words from the first example to the sixth example are all what? Af'alun, verbs. لأن كلا منها يدل على حصول عمل في زمن خاص. Because each of these words indicate the occurrence of an action at a given time. وإذا تدبرنا هذه الأفعال. If we are to ponder over these verbs, no doubt they are all verbs. But when we ponder over these verbs, وجدنا المتكلم في كل منها, we will find out that the speaker, the first person who is using these words, يطلب من المخاطب ويأمره أن يأتي عملا في الزمن المستقبل. We will find out that the speaker is always at each point in these examples seeking, requesting the carrying out of an action, or he's either commanding the mukhatab, the second person, to carry out an action in the nearest future, in the future. Again, each of these words we see are all verbs, and they are all used by the speaker to command the receiver or the listener, the second person, to carry out an action in the future. Example, we have il'ab. So now let's move on. وَمِنْ أَجْلِ ذَلِكَ يُسَمَّى كُلُّ فِعْلٍ مِنْ هَذِهِ الْأَفْعَالِ فِعْلَ الْأَمْرِ. As a result of this, all of these words are called فِعْلُ الْأَمْرِ, command tense. In other words, we can say imperative tense, command word tense. فَالْفِعْلُ, like the verb il'ab, في المثال الأول, in the first example, يطلب به من المخاطب إتيان اللعب في الزمن المستقبل. It is used to request the second person to come up with the action of playing in the future. When you tell somebody il'ab, play, you are requesting him to play in the future. The future could be now, could be with immediate effect or with delayed effects. So when you tell someone il'ab, play, you are requesting the person to come up with the action of playing. وَهُوَ لِذَلِكَ فِعْلُ أَمْرٍ. And as such, it is a commanding tense or a command tense. وَالْفِعْلُ, and the verb أَطْعِمْ, feed. أَطْعِمْ, feed. فِي الْمِثَالِ الثاني, in the second example, we have أَطْعِمْ كِتَّكَ, feed your cats. يطلب به من المخاطب حصول الإطعام في الزمن المستقبل. It is used to request the second person to come up with the action of feeding. The action of feeding in the future. When you command someone to feed, feed, you ask him to feed, to eat, or to give food out, in the future. وهو لذلك فعل أمر, and as such, it is also called فعل أمر. Do you understand? فعل أمر. وهكذا يقال في بقية الأفعال السابقة. And this explanation we have given is the same thing that goes for all of the other verbs in the previous examples we have mentioned. So all of the other verbs, نظف, نم, تمهل, أجد, all these are verbs, action words that are used to request someone to come up with an action in the future. Now we also have al-qaida. This is the sixth rule. It says al-fi'lu amr, that is the command tense. Huwa kullu fi'lin, it is every verb yutlabu bihi husuli shay'in fi zamanil mustaqbal. It is every verb that is used to request the occurrence or the initiation of an action in the future. So any word we use to request someone to come up with an action is called fi'l al-amr. That is a command tense. Hope we are following. So now we are done with the three basic tenses, and these are fi'lul madi, past tense, fi'lul amr, present tense, and fi'lul mudari, that is the present tense. So fi'lul mudari, present tense, and fi'lul amr, the command tense. To summarize, fi'lul madi is the past tense, any verb used to indicate the occurrence of an action in the past. While fi'lul mudari, present tense, is any word used to indicate the occurrence of an action in the present or in the future. While fi'lul amr is any word used to indicate or command, request the second person to carry out an action in the future. We are done with the three tenses. Now we have a lot of exercises to really make our journey better. When we solve this exercise together, you will see that you by yourself, you can easily explain what you have learned, and even your spoken Arabic become better, and you are going to write a lot, and this will open your brain to understanding more of the Arabic grammar rules that we'll be learning in the future. Can we go on? Let's go on and solve this together. MashaAllah. Tamrinat, exercises. Tamrinul awal, the first exercise. The instruction says اقرأ العبارات الآتية وميز الأفعال والماضية وميز الأفعال الماضية والأفعال المضارعة وأفعال الأمر. Read the following sentences. First of all, you have to read the following sentences. وميز الأفعال, and you should differentiate the أفعال الماضي, the past tense. أفعال الماضية, the past tenses. وأفعال المضارعة, the present tenses. وأفعال الأمر, and the command tense. So we have learned the three basic tenses. All these tenses are found in below sentences. We are to form a table. On the first column we have the أفعال الماضية, the past tense. On the second column we have the أفعال المضارعة, the present tense. On the last column we have أفعال الأمر, the command tense. So we read through these examples, and whenever we find the past tense, we place it under the أفعال الماضية. Whenever we find the present tense, we place it under the أفعال المضارعة. And whenever we find the command tense, we place it under the أفعال الأمر. This instruction is very simple. So let's read through these examples and solve it together, inshallah. Number one, we have Janal Fallahu Kutnah. The farmer harvested his cotton. Waba'ah, and he sold it. Thumma ashtara biba'di thamani. Thumma ashtara, then he bought biba'di thamani, with some of his proceeds, with some of his gains. Ma yahtaju ilayhi, what he is in need of. This sentence is very clear. The farmer harvested his cotton, he sold it, then he bought with some of his proceeds, some of his gains, what he needs. So let's go back and indicate the present, past, and the command tense in this sentence. The first word is jana. He harvested. That is a past tense. It will be under af'alul madiyah. Al-fallahu, that is not a verb. Kutna, not a verb. Waba'ah, the word ba'ah, he sold it, under a past tense because it's a past word. Thumma ishtara, ishtara also af'al min af'al al-madiyah. Then yahtaju, he is in need. This is a present tense to be under af'alul mudari'ah. MashaAllah. Number two, we have nadhara tiflu. The boy, the small boy, the baby, looked ila tayri, at the bird. The bird, he looked at it. Wa huwa yuhalliku fi sama, while the bird was flying, soaring into the sky. Fahabba, and he loved, and yutira mithla, that he flies like it. The boy looked at the bird while it was launching above, while it was flying. Then he hoped, he loved that he could fly like it. So let's look at the words. The first word, nadhara, fi'lun madi, a past tense. So you know where it to be. The second word, the second verb we have here is yuhalliku. Yuhalliku means flying or soaring. So this is a present tense. So it will be under af'alul mudari'ah, and we have ahabba. Ahaba means he loved. It will also be af'alul madiyah. Then yatwiro. Yatwiro means what? To fly, flying. So it will also be fi'lul mudari under af'alul mudari'ah. MashaAllah. Let's move on to number 3. The sentence says habbatil awasifu. The wind swept or swelled. The wind blew. Laylan, at night. Fa'atfa'atil masabiha. And it quenched the lamps. Waqatala'at ba'd al-ashjar. And it uprooted some of the trees. The wind swelled at night of the lamps and uprooted some of the trees. So let's look at this sentence and pick the af'al. Habbati is a past tense, fi'lul madhi, so it will be under af'alul madiyah. Atfa'at is also fi'lul madhi, it will be under af'alul madiyah. Then we have iqtala'at, fi'lul madhi under af'alul madiyah. So we understand. Number 4, we have satadhi'bu ala al-ghanami. The wolf attacked the sheep. The wolf attacked the flock of sheep. Faftarasa wahidatan, and it hunted down one of them. It pounced on one of them. Wafarra hariban, and it ran in a way of escaping, and it escaped. The wolf attacked a group of sheep or a flock of sheep. It hunted one of them, pounced on one of them, and it ran away. So let's pick the verbs here and differentiate them and put them in their correct or appropriate columns. We have the first word, sato. That is a fi'l madhi, past tense, to be under af'alul madiyah. We have iftarasa, the same thing, he pounced. So this means what? This is a past tense to be under af'alul madiyah. And we have farra, also fi'l madhi, so it will be under af'alul madiyah. MashaAllah. Number 5, we have udkhulil bustana, enter the garden. Wamatte' nafsaka bimanzarihi, and delight yourself with its scenery. Delight, give yourself joy with the scenes. Just what you see around, be happy with it. Wala ta'bas bi azharihi wa thimarihi, and do not touch, do not tamper with the fruits and also the flowers. Enter the garden, delight yourself with the scene, but do not play, do not tamper with the fruits and also the flowers. Let's pick the words. The first word is udkhul. What is udkhul? Enter, a command tense. Fi'lul amr, under af'alul amr. We have matte', delight yourself, a command tense, also under fi'lul af'alul amr. We have ta'bas. Ta'bas, we can see it begins with ta, and we said the huruf that begin a fi'lul amr, a fi'lul mudari, a present tense are 4 joined together to make an a2, and ta is part of them. So ta'bas is a fi'lul mudari, a present tense to be added to af'alul mudari'ah. That is all. Number 6, we have la tukthir min al kalam. Do not talk too much. Speak less. Wala tantik bima la ta'lam, and do not speak of what you do not know. Allahu Akbar. This is a good one. Speak less and do not speak of what you don't know. Don't lie. La tukthir. Tukthir fi'lul mudari, under af'alul what? Al mudari. Wala tantik, and do not what? Speak. Tantik, that is also fi'lul mudari, under af'alul mudari. Ta'lam, also know, meaning what? Under fi'lul mudari. So we put it under af'alul mudari. Lastly, we have igsil. Wash yadayka, wash your 2 hands. Qabla al-akli wa ba'da, before eating and after it. Wa nadhif asnanak, and clean your teeth. Wala tudkhil at-ta'ama ala at-ta'ami, and do not enter food into another. Do not join food with another. Don't eat, you just finished eating, then you added another one. Don't do that. So let's pick the words out. The first one is igsil, a command tense under af'alul amr. Igsil. Then we have nadhif, clean, a command tense under af'alul amr. Then la tudkhil, it is a present tense under af'alul mudari'ah. That is the end of this exercise. Hope you have done it. Make sure you sit down to do it yourself. Now let's move on to at-tamrin al-thani, the second exercise. The instruction says ضع قبل كل اسم من الأسماء الآتية أو بعده فعلا ماضيا يلائمه. Place before or after each of these words that we are seeing, we should place a verb, a past tense verb before or after each of these words. What you have to do in this exercise is to place an appropriate past tense before or after each of these words. The first word we have here is al-ghusnu. Al-ghusnu means branch, the branch. I can say qata'tul ghusna. I cut the branch. That is the past tense. I cut in the past. We have az-zujaju. Az-zujaju means what? Bottle, glass. So I can say inkasarat zujaju. Inkasarat zujaju, meaning the bottle is broken. The bottle is what? Broken. So inkasarat is what? A past tense, fi'l madi. Then we have al-qalamu, which means the pen. I can say wajadtu al-qalama. I found the pen. Wajadtu, I found. Ash-shamsu, the sun. We can simply say tala ash-shamsu. The sun, right? Tala ash-shams, the sun rise. Then we also have al-qitaru, which means the train. I can say rakibtu al-qitara. I rode or I board the qitar. That is the train. Past tense. And we have al-bahru. Al-bahru, which means the sea. We can simply say imtala al-bahru. The sea is filled. Imtala al-bahru. We also have al-thamaru. We can say qataftu al-thamaru. I picked the fruits. We also have al-misbahu. I can say ash'altu al-misbaha. I lightened the lamp. MashaAllah. The B part we have, the bar part we have the instruction da qabla kulli ismin min al-asma'i al-atiya wa ba'da fi'lan mudari'an yula'imu. Place a past tense before or after the following asma, the following nouns. We are given 8 nouns here. These words are all nouns. We have to place a present tense before them or after them. The first word we have here is arihu. Arihu means wind or breeze. We can say tashtaddu rihu. The breeze is becoming intense, is becoming intense. We also have al-gubaru. Al-gubaru means dust. We can say yathuru al-gubaru. The dust is swelling, meaning the dust is moving upward. We also have al-hilalu. Al-hilalu means the crescent. I can say al-hilalu yuniru. Al-hilalu yuniru. The crescent is lightning. It gives light, illuminating. We also have al-ina'u. Al-ina'u means the bowl. I can say al-ina'u yamtari'u. The ina is filling up. The bowl is filling up. We also have al-misbahu. Al-misbahu means the lamp. I can say al-misbahu yudi'u. The lamp is illuminated, gives light. We also have an-nahru. We can say yattasi'u an-nahru. The river is widening, is becoming wider. Then we have as-safinatu. As-safinatu means the ship. I can say tabaharu. As-safinatu tabaharu. The ship is sailing. And we also have al-qalamu. Al-qalamu means what? The pen. We can say al-qalamu yaktubu. The pen is writing. We can see that all of these words we have added to this asma are all what? Are all present verbs. At-tamrin al-thalis, the third exercise. The instruction for alif part is saying da fi'lan mudari'an fil makan al-khali mimma yati. Place an appropriate word in the open spaces or in the blank spaces. Number one, we have al-fa'ratu dash min al-qibti. We can say al-fa'ratu takhafu min al-qibti. We have to place a present tense that is appropriate to fill in the following gaps. So the present tense for the first one is takhafu al-fa'ratu takhafu min al-qitti. The rat is afraid of the cats. Number 2, we have al-kalbu, then wara aswahibi. I can say al-kalbu yajri. That is the word yajri wara al-kalbi. Wara aswahibi. The dog is running behind its owner. Number 3, we also have ad-dajajatu dash kulla yawmin. We can say ad-dajajatu tabidu kulla yawmin. The hen lays every day baydatan, an egg. The hen lays an egg every day. So the missing word is tabidu, and that is a fi'l al-mudari, a present tense. Number 4, we have al-ummu dash awladaha. The mother, we can say al-ummu tuhibbu awladaha. The mother loves her children. That is a present tense, tuhibbu. Then the ba part, we have the instruction da fi'lan madiyan fil makan al-khali mimma yati. Place a past tense in the coming spaces. We have blank spaces below. Place a past tense in them. The number 1, we have al-waladu al-julusa. We can say al-waladu kariha al-julusa. The boy hates sitting. The word kariha is a past tense, and that is the missing word. Number 2, we have ar-rajulu dash fin nahri. We can say ar-rajulu saqata fin nahri. The man fell in the river. Ar-rajulu saqata fin nahri. The man fell in the river. We also have number 3, al-khadimu dash al-hujra. We can say al-khadimu rattab al-hujra. The maid or the houseboy arranged the room. Number 4, we have aliyun dash ila Faransa. We can say aliyun safara ila Faransa. Aliyu traveled to France. At-tamrin rabi, moving on to tamrin. Number 4, we have the instruction which says iti bi khamsi jumalin kullu wahidatin minha mabdu'atun bi fi'lin madi. That form 5 sentences. Each of these sentences should begin with a past tense. Form 5 sentences. Each of these sentences should begin with a past tense. So these are the 5 sentences here. We're going to read through them, and we see that each of them begin with a past tense. The first one, we can say ذَكَرَ الطَّالِبُ دَرْسَهُ. ذَكَرَ الطَّالِبُ دَرْسَهُ. The student revised his lesson. We can also say أَطَاعَ الْوَلَدُ أُمَّهُ. The boy obeyed his mother. Obeyed. That is the past tense. And we can also see sami'tu nasiha. I can say sami'tu nasiha. I had the advice. Sami'tu, a past tense. I can also say ajaba Muhammadun an-nidaa. Muhammad responded to the call. Ajaba. And lastly, I can say akala aliyun at-ta'ama. Ali ate the food. All of these 5 sentences, you can see they all begin with a past tense. This is what you have to do. Now let's move on to the next exercise. The instruction says iti bi khamsi jumalin kullu wahidatin minha mabdu'atun bi fi'lin mudari. Form 5 sentences, each of them beginning with a present tense. So we can look at the 5 sentences on the board, and all these are, we can say yudhakiru talibu darsa. The student is revising his lesson. Yudhakiru, present tense. We can also say ata al waladu yuti'u al waladu ummah. The boy is obeying his mother. Yuti'u. We can also say asma'u nasiha. I am hearing, or I hear the advice. Then we can say yujibu Muhammadun an-nida. Yujibu Muhammadun an-nida. Muhammad is responding to the call. And lastly, we say ya'kulu aliyun at-ta'ama. Ali is eating the food. Then the next instruction says iti bi khamsi jumalin fi kulli wahidatin minha fi'lun amrun. Form 5 sentences, each of them beginning with a command tense. So the first one, we can say dhakir darsak. Revise your lesson. The second one, we can say ati' ummak, obey your mother. The next one, we can say isma'in nasiha, listen to the advice. And the next, we can say kulit ta'ama, eat the food. And the next one, we say ajib bil dawa or ajib bin nida, answer the call. We can see these are 5 sentences, all beginning with a command tense. Now moving on to at-tamrinul khamis, the 5th exercise. The instruction says iti bi arba'i jumalin bi kullin minha fi'lun mudari'un. Form 5 sentences, each of them should have a present tense. بحيث تكون أحرف المضارعة في الأفعال الأربعة مختلفة. You have to form 4 sentences. Each of them should have a present tense, and all of the present tenses should have each of the letters of a mudari. We have said that the huruf al-mudari'a are hamza, nun, ya, and ta. These these 4 letters begin a present tense. The one that you form is 4 sentences. Each of them should have one of these huruf. Either you begin the verb with hamza, nun, ya, or ta. Let's move on. The first one I can say anamu fil bayt. Anamu fil bayt. I sleep in the house. So anamu begins with hamza. So this is number 1. Number 2, I can say yanamu fil bayt. He sleeps in the house. Ya. Number 3, I can say nanamu fil bayt. We sleep in the house. Nun. Lastly, you can say tanamu fil bayt. You sleep or she sleep in the house. So we can see the 4 huruf are present. Hamza, ya, nun, and ta. The next exercise, the instruction says اكتب الجمل الآتية بعد تغيير كل فعل ماض فيها بفعل مضارع. Rewrite the following sentences after changing their past tense into present tense. These sentences are made up of past tenses. These past tenses, you have to change them to their present form. Number 1, we have sarul kitaru. The train moved. We can say yasirul kitaru. Yasirul kitaru. Number 2, tara sakaru. The hawk fly or flew. The hawk flew. Past tense. We can say yatiru sakaru. Yatiru sakaru. The hawk is flying. Number 3, safara walidi. My father traveled. In the past, we can say yusafiru walidi. My father is traveling. Number 4, maridul gulamu. The boy was sick. Now we can say yamuradul gulamu. The boy is sick. He is still sick. Number 5, we can say it is nazal al mataru. The rain fell. In the past. To put it in present form, we can say yanzilul mataru. The rain is falling. Lastly, we have atisha zaru. The plant is thirsty. It's thirsty, need of water. We can say ya'tashun zaru. The plant is thirsty. It is still thirsty, not in the past. The plant was thirsty, now it is thirsty. The bar part, the instruction says اكتب الجمل الآتية بعد تغيير كل فعل مضارع بفعل ماض. The instruction says write the following sentences after changing the present tenses to command tense. The number 1, we have yugarridul usfur. Yugarridul usfur. After changing the present tenses to past tense. All these examples are in their past, the present tenses. We want to change them to their past form. Number 1, we have yugarridul usfur. The sparrow or the small bird is singing. To put it in the past form, we can say garradal usfur. The usfur, the sparrow, sang. Number 2, yabi'u tajiru al-bun. The merchant, the trader, is buying the coffee or the coffee beans. We can say ba'at tajiru al-bun. The trader bought the coffee. Number 3, we have yagsilul waladu yadayhi. The boy is washing his 2 hands. We can say ghasalal waladu yadayhi. The boy washed his 2 hands. Number 4, yuthmirul bustan. The garden is fruitful, is bringing fruit. We can say أثمر البستان. The garden produced fruit in the past. Number 5, we have تنظف البنت ثيابها. The girl is washing or cleaning her dress. We can say نظفت البنت ثيابها. The girl cleaned her dress. Number 6, we see يجني الفلاح القطن. The farmer is harvesting the cotton. We can say جنى الفلاح القطن. The farmer harvested his cotton. All of these words, we have changed them from their present form to their past form. Jim, we have حول المضارع في الجمل الآتية إلى فعل أمر واضبط الأمر بالشكل. Change the present tenses in these following sentences إلى فعل الأمر. Change them to فعل الأمر, to their command tense. واضبط الأمر بالشكل. And make sure you record the فعل الأمر, the command tense, you record is correct vowelization or voweling. Number 1, we have أحترم المعلم. I am respecting, honoring the teacher. How do you command someone to honor the teacher? You simply say احترم المعلم. احترم المعلم. احترم, advise, respect the teacher. Number 2, we have أحفظ الدرس. I am memorizing the lesson. To put it in the command tense, we say احفظ الدرس. Memorize the lesson. Number 3, we have أنظف الحذاء. I am cleaning the shoe. To put it in فعل الأمر, we say نظف الحذاء. Clean the shoe. Number 4, we have أقرأ في الكتاب. I am reading in the book. So you say اقرأ في الكتاب. Read in the book. Number 5, we have أشتغل في الحديقة. I'm busy in the garden. We can say اشتغل في الحديقة. Be busy in the garden. Number 6, we have أنطق بالصدق. I speak the truth, or I speak with the truth. We can say انطق بالصدق. Speak with the truth, or speak the truth. Now coming to تمرين في الإنشاء, composition aspect of this exercise. The instruction says ضع كل فعل من الأفعال الآتية في جملة مفيدة مركبة من 3 كلمات فأكثر. The following words, the words below, we are to place them in a complete sentence. All these words are verbs. We are to place them in a complete sentences, and these sentences should be made up of 3 words and above. The first word we have here is خرج. خرج. We can say خرج محمد من البيت. Muhammad went out of the house. Muhammad went out of the house. We have يلبس. We can say يلبس التلميذ ثوب المدرسة. The pupil is wearing the school clothes or the school dress, the uniform. We have تستخرج. تستخرج. We can say تستخرج الدولة معادن الأرض. The country is excavating and bringing out the treasures of the land, or the minerals of the land. We also have تغسل. We can say تغسل الأم ملابس الأولاد. The mother is washing the children's clothes. We have استراحة. استراحة means to rest. We can say استراح الأب بعد العمل. The father rested after, or the father took a rest. Now the next exercise, the instruction says هاتي 5 جمل في موضوع الأسد تبتدئ كل جملة منها بفعل ماضي. Form 5 sentences. Each of these sentences should be in the topic of Al-Asad, the lion. Form 5 sentences revolving around the topic of the lion. كل جملة منها بفعل الماضي. Each of these sentences تبتدئ بفعل الماضي should begin with a past tense. Let's go on and form 5 sentences, each of them beginning with a past tense under the topic of the lion. Let's go. Number 1, we have عاش الأسد في الغابة. The lion lived in the forest. Number 2, هجم الأسد قطيع الغزلان. The lion attacked a flock of gazelles or antelopes. هجم. Number 3, فر الأسد هاربا. The lion ran away. The lion escaped. Number 4, أكل الأسد اللحم. The lion ate the meat. Number 5, نام الأسد تحت الشجرة. We can see that all of these sentences begin with a past tense, a فعل ماضي. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Now the next exercise says هاتي خمس جمل في موضوع النهر. Form 5 sentences in the topic of river or under the topic of river. تبتدئ كل جملة منها بفعل المضارع, and each of these sentences should begin with a present tense. Form 5 sentences under the topic of river, and make sure each of the sentences begin with a present tense. Let's go on and form these. Number 1, يتدفق النهر بسلاسة. The river is flowing out with ease. Number 2, يزداد النهر بسبب المطر. The river is increasing due to the rain. Number 3, يعيش الناس على ضفاف النهر. People live at the river banks. Number 4, تحلق الطيور فوق النهر. The birds are flying over the river. Lastly, we have يسبح الأولاد في النهر. The boys are swimming in the river. We can see that all of these sentences begin with a فعل مضارع, a present tense. MashaAllah. Lastly, to finalize, the instruction says هاتي خمس جمل. Form 5 sentences. تأمر فيها تلميذا. Commanding or ordering a pupil in this sentence بخمسة أعمال, to come up with 5 actions ترتبط بالمدرسة, that is connected to the school. You have to form 5 sentences. In these sentences, you should be commanding the student or the pupil to come up with 5 actions which are connected to the school. Let's go on and form these. Number 1, we have اذهب إلى المكتبة. Go to the library. Next, اجلب معك دفتر الملاحظات. Go or carry with you a notebook. استعر 5 كتب. Borrow 5 books. ابحث على الإنترنت عن معلومات إضافية. Search online for additional information. Lastly, اطلب المساعدة من معلمك. Seek assistance from your teacher. MashaAllah. With this, we come to the end of our class of today. Alhamdulillah, we stayed to the end to gain the full fruit of this knowledge. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to crown our effort with Jannah until we meet again. But before then, make sure you solve all of these exercises. Do not look at them to be too numerous, because this will assist you in your ability to grasp this Arabic grammar. Until we meet again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.